Hold on to your seats, folks, because what you're about to dive into is a television moment so electrifying it'll leave your jaw on the floor. Picture this: Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Drama, herself struts onto the View, expecting a cozy, friendly chat. But guess who's waiting in the wings with a verbal flamethrower? None other than Howard Stern, the shock jock legend, who's about to turn this daytime talk show into a no-holds-barred battleground. What happens next is a clash so explosive it's already being called one of the most unforgettable moments in TV history. Before we plunge into this fiery confrontation, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button and drop a comment below, letting me know what you think about celebrities being held accountable. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss a single second of this wild ride. The studio lights blaze like 1,000 suns as the View's iconic theme music faded into the background. At the center of the table sat Whoopi Goldberg, her commanding presence. Anchoring the panel flanking her were Joy Behar, Sarah Haynes, Sunny Hostins, and Alyssa Farah Griffin, all ready for what they thought would be a typical episode. But today was anything but ordinary. They had a guest co-host in the house. And this wasn't just any guest, this was Howard Stern, the king of controversy, ready to flip the script in ways no one saw coming. Welcome back. To View, Whoopi's gravelly voice boomed through the studio, her eyes twinkling with a mix of excitement and caution. We're joined today by the one and only Howard Stern, who's here to talk about his latest projects, and will probably stir up some trouble. As usual, Howard leaned into his microphone, that infamous smirk plastered across his face. Whoopi, you know me too well. I'm here to ask the questions everybody else is too scared or too polite to touch. The audience let out a nervous chuckle. They could feel the tension brewing, like a storm cloud ready to burst. Little did they know a hurricane was about to hit. And speaking of tough questions, Joy Behar jumped in her tone light, but her eyes where we got a very special guest joining us. In the next segment, Meghan Markle will be here to talk about her latest charitable endeavor. Sarah Haynes nodded enthusiastically, her smile as bright as the studio lights. I'm really looking forward to hearing about her work with women's empowerment initiatives. Howard's eyebrows shot up, his smirk growing sharper. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Sunny Hostins shot him a warning glance, her voice firm but playful. Howard, please tell me you're going to behave yourself. To fine behave. Howard quipped his grin, making the entire panel shift uncomfortably in their seats. The audience laughed again, but the nervous energy was palpable. Something big was coming, and they could feel it as a commercial break ended. Meghan Markle glided onto the set, her megawatt smile lighting up the room. She waved the audience, every inch the poised, polished public figure she had crafted herself to be. Dressed in a sleek cream blazer, her hair cascading in perfect waves, she looked like she had just stepped out of a magazine cover. The crowd erupted in applause, but there was an undercurrent of anticipation. Everyone knew Howard Stern wasn't here to play nice. Meghan, welcome to the View, Whoopi said warmly as Meghan settled into her seat. It's wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much for having me, Meghan replied, her voice smooth as silk, every word carefully chosen. I'm thrilled to be here with all of you. The pleasantries flowed for a few minutes as the panel lobbed softballs her way. Meghan spoke eloquently about her passion for female empowerment, her commitment to social justice, and her latest charitable initiatives. It was all going exactly as her publicist had planned, smooth, predictable, perfect. That is, until Howard Stern decided it was time to light the fuse. Meghan, can I ask you something? Howard interrupted, his tone deceptively casual but laced with an edge that made everyone sit up straighter. Of course, Howard. Meghan replied, her smile faltering just a fraction, like a crack in a porcelain vase. Howard leaned forward, his piercing gaze locked on her. I've been listening to you talk about empowerment and authenticity, and I gotta say I'm a little confused. How do you square preaching about being authentic when your entire public persona seems built on whining about a family that made you famous? The studio went dead silent. You could have heard a feather drop. Meghan's mouth opened slightly, her perfectly rehearsed composure thrown off balance. I'm sorry, what exactly are you referring to? She asked, her voice still steady, but with a hint of strain. Come on, Meghan. Howard pressed, his voice gaining steam. You've built a career out of playing the victim card while cashing in on the very institution you claim oppress you. That feels pretty inauthentic to me. Alyssa Farah Griffin jumped in, her tone diplomatic but firm. Howard, maybe we should focus on Meghan's current work. No, Howard cut her off, holding up a hand. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Everyone wants to handle her with kid gloves while she's a public figure making bold statements. She should be able to defend them. Meghan's composure was starting to fray, her smile now more of a tight grimace. Howard, I think you're Ms. Hara Terrying my experiences and my work. Howard shot back, unrelenting, because from where I'm sitting it, Looks like you've turned family drama into a multi-million-dollar media empire, exclusive interviews, Netflix deals, podcasts, all centered on how badly you were treated. If it was so awful, why do you keep talking about it, Joy Behar? Try to steer the ship back to calmer waters. I think what Howard's trying to say is, I can speak for myself, Joy. Howard interrupted sharply. Meghan, you've talked about how media scrutiny affected your mental health. That's serious, and I've got compassion for that. But then you turn around and put yourself in more media situations. You're literally here on live TV talking to more media. Help me understand the logic. Meghan's face flushed, her voice tightening. Howard, I think you're oversimplifying a very complex situation. Then explain it to me, Howard demanded, his tone sharp but controlled. Make it simple. Because to the average person, it looks like you want all the perks of being a public figure, the fame, the money, the platform, without any of the scrutiny that comes with it. Sonny Hostins leapt to Meghan's defense. Howard, that's unfair. Meghan has legitimate grievances about how she was treated by the British press. Sonny, with all due respect, Howard turned to face her. Every celebrity has issues with the press. That's part of the gig, but most of them don't spend years doing victory laps about it. The tension in the studio was thick enough to cut with a knife. Camera operators inched closer, sensing they were capturing television gold. Meghan was visibly struggling to hold it together, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. Howard, she said, her voice strained, you're being deliberately provocative and missing the point entirely. The point of what Howard pressed, not letting up for a second. Your point seems to be that everyone should feel sorry for you because you married into one of the most famous families in the world and then discovered fame has downsides. That's not exactly earth-shattering news. Meghan, Sarah Haynes, try to play peacemaker. Maybe we should take a step back. No, Sarah, Howard cut in, his voice like a whip. This is important. We live in a world where people are afraid to ask tough questions of certain figures because they might get called names or canceled. But someone's got to point out, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe.